Hi everyone, welcome to Cobalt Academia's Hacking How to video series. I'm Busra, aka RU1R0, an offensive security researcher and a pentest architect at Cobalt.io. With Hacking How to video series, we see how to exploit vulnerabilities that we encounter every day during pentests. In this specific video, we will see how to exploit code injection by using different scenarios. If you're ready, let's jump in. Hi everyone, in this video we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability on ColdFusion using a hack-the-box machine called Arctic. So I've already done some basic enumeration and I realized that there is this 8500 port is open, which allows me to go to this directory, which let me know that ColdFusion 8.0.1 is in use, which is vulnerable to file upload exploit. So what I've done is I've done some research online and realized that you can whether exploit this using Metasploit or you can just use a simple manual exploit on it. So what I've done is I've downloaded this file and saved it as coldfusion.py. I will be using it by using the vulnerable IP and port number, and I will be using a JSP file. The only reason why I included this really easy box is that if you are watching my videos, you will know that I love including different scenarios, and since this is including a different extension to exploit code injection vulnerability with JSP, I wanted to include this video. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a payload with MSF Venom and saving it with the file extension JSP if I don't do a typo. I'm like the queen of typos. I don't know why. So what I will do is I will be saving this file as kalisa.jsp and will be listening on the port 4444 as I am already doing right now. So the next step after creating the file is triggering the manual exploit to listen the shell, which I am doing right now and waiting for the shell at the moment. The file is uploaded. Now we will be triggering this file. And we will wait for the reverse shell. After waiting a couple of seconds, we got the reverse shell as, let's see, Tallis and Arctic machine. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability by uploading a PHP file in a GIF extension. We will be using a hack-the-box machine called Bang, and if you're ready, let's jump in. So in the beginning, I did some directory brute forcing and I found this directory called balance transfer. So when I check for the size for the different file here, I saw that there's a file with a smaller size. When I checked this file, I saw that the credentials for Chris at bank.hackthebox is given in here. I logged in with these credentials. By the way, I saved the IP address of this box in etc host file as bank.hackthebox. And I saw this support feature. So as you can see, there is a file upload functionality. Of course, first I tried to upload PHP file, didn't work. I tried to upload image file, change extension as PHP. But what I want to show you here is that I want to upload a GIF file, and first I want to create this GIF file for you to see this method. So you can basically write your PHP code like this to inject PHP code, and you can start your file with GIF89A to make it look like a GIF file. When you ask the Linux system to see what kind of file it is, we can trick Linux by setting this word in the beginning. It just says that as GIF file. Okay, so we are first uploading this GIF file, and as I tried this before, you can see my previous uploaded files. So GIF3, I saved this. There is no problem, it just gives us a success. When I trigger this file, it says it cannot be displayed. Since I added this parameter Kalisa, it's still giving me an error message. So from there, actually we need to add one more step to bypass this restriction. What I've done is, I can close this one. I just copied the same file test.gif as test.hackthebox, but it doesn't change the file type here. It's still GIF file. I just changed the extension for it. So what I've done is I uploaded this test.hackthebox file, which is actually a GIF file, which includes a PHP content. I uploaded this. I will call this GIF4 and GIF4 again, and I will be submitting this. When I click here, you can see that it is executing the file content. If I add this parameter and execute a comment, it's given me the comment output. So of course what I will do is I will just getting a reverse shell, because why not, right? It's the purpose of this. So I will be doing netget -e bin bash to bind the bash shell, then writing my IP address for hack the box and the port number. When I do this, I connect it, get a shell. It's a pretty easy technique, but I just wanted to include this in this video series. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability using a PHP file on a hack-the-box machine called Beep. So this is a bit improved scenario comparing to the most basic one. In here, we need to bypass some extension restrictions, and if you're ready, let's jump in. So I'm not going to go into the details of the previous attacks, but we found admin credentials using an LFI vulnerability in the first steps. So in the next steps, we will be going to the settings, and from there we will see a file upload functionality, which allows us to upload a logo file under company detail. As you can see, there's this file upload functionality for logo. What I will do is, in the previous step, I just copied PHP reverse shell file under user share web shells PHP folder as she.php. We can see the file content really quick. As you can see, my IP address is here, the rest is default, and I will be listening on port 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I will do is, first I will try to upload the file as she.php. When I try to upload it, it gives me an error message by saying only JPG, JPEG, and similar extensions are allowed. So what I will do here is that I will be saving my file as she.jpg, the exact same file, and I will be listening. So I will be intercepting requests with burp while uploading she.jpg file. So when I click on save, it sends me to burp. We see the screen, we will just go there and we are seeing our file content. The only trick that we will do is we're not going to change content type, but what we are going to change is the file extension as PHP. Since when we intercept this, the application is not realizing it and not blocking us, we will just be forwarding this and we will let it be uploaded. Okay, I'm gonna intercept off again. I don't need anything else to do. So from there, again, we are realizing that there's a directory listing vulnerability here under test. What I will do is I will be going to logo directory to trigger she.php file. As you can see, it's not saved here as she.jpg, but she.php. So what I will do is I will be listening on port 1, 2, 3, 4, and will be opening the file to get a reverse shell as asterisk. Pretty easy, but compared to the previous scenario, the only thing you're adding is intercepting the request while uploading the file and changing the file extension from JPEG to PHP. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability by using a hack-the-box machine called Bounty. This is a pretty cool machine which allows you to upload config files and get a reverse shell at the end of the video. So I already done some basic enumeration and I found this file transfer.aspx, which allows me to upload some files. After doing some extension brute forcing, I've realized that the only file extension that I can upload is .config files. I checked online for a couple of different exploits about this, and I found these two web pages which are really cool to upload to get a reverse shell using a .config file. So in order to get a reverse shell, I created this file, which is basically what I get from these URLs, and at the end of it I run this command. I will be running cmd exe by binding with PowerShell, and I will be downloading Nishank's invoke PowerShell TCP script, which is waiting on port 8000 in my local machine in here. I have saved this Nishank's ps1 file as shell.ps1, and at the end of this file, the only thing that I edit is this one, which is my IP address and the port number that I will be listening on. So in order for this end, I will be listening via Python simple HTTP server on port 8000 for this file to be downloaded in the target machine. We can keep this, it's okay. And the thing that I will do is I will be uploading this file, and under uploaded files I will be calling it. When I call the file, as you can see, the file is uploaded and I am getting a connection from this box as, let's check this, current user as Merlin. So this is pretty cool. This is a bit different from other extensions that we see, such as memtypes, PHP, PNG, memtypes such as PNG, JPEG, and all these extensions that we are familiar with. But in order to solve this box, we need to see which kind of extensions are allowed, which give us the answer as .config files. And of course, there are great hackers out there which already created some payloads for these extensions, and we just created this payload according to it. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability by using Joomla CMS system. We will be using a box crawling from Hack the Box, and I already done some basic enumeration, and I found the login credentials. So as you can see, this is the admin page for Joomla CMS system. So what we will do in the first place when we see Joomla is that we need to go to extensions to see the templates if we can edit them. We're going to the templates and we will just choosing one of them. For instance, for the sake of this example, I will be choosing B's template. The thing that I want to do is I want to see if I can upload a reverse shell here, which you can see all these files are in PHP format. So what I will do is I will just be going to index.php and we'll be replacing this PHP code with my own code. So what I've done here is that I copied the file web shell from Cal Linux default PHP web shells, which is under user share web shells PHP folder, and I already copied it in here with replacing the IP address with my own IP address with the Hack the Box VPN. So what will I do is that I will just be listening on the port 1234, the generic concept, and we'll be replacing this with the reverse shell code. I will just be copying this and replacing the whole code with my own reverse shell. I will be saving this and will fire index.php to get a reverse shell. As you can see, we get a reverse shell as data, and this is a really cool and easy example, but in your pentest, bug bounty, or any hacking activity you have, if you see a Joomla page, this is the first thing that you are supposed to check. And under extensions, there are so many templates that you can use, and you need to check if you have edit permissions to replace your own PHP file. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability by using a Jenkins page. We will be using Jeeves from Hack the Box, and I already done some basic enumeration, and I saw that there's this 50,000 port open, and we can reach out to this Jenkins page by creating some projects, which will give us a remote code execution in the later steps. I really enjoy solving Jenkins page during my pen tests, and let's jump in. So the first thing that we will do is we will be creating a job. So let's create a freestyle project and let's call it Kalisa, as I am always using. I will say okay. And the next thing I will do is I will be going to this build section. So in this section, we can write our comment, and as you can see, I am not authenticated. I just have an access to a comment input to write my comment. So what I will write is the following comment. So I will be writing PowerShell, and we'll get a file with wget by writing my own IP address. 10.10.14.4 on port 8000, which is the default HTTP simple Python simple HTTP server port. And then I will be uploading netget.exe file there. Of course, with PowerShell, I need to save the file by saying out file option, and I can just save it as netget.exe. Of course, I need to put this in quotation mark also. So the next thing I will do is I need to call this file by saying netget.exe, and I need to bind the cmd.exe with my own port 10.10.14.4 again, and I will be listening on the port 7777. Let's bind the cmd.exe here, and this should be okay to save this comments that I just wrote in here. The first thing I need to do is the file is being called netget.exe file, then my root shell will come automatically. Now I'm saving, and the thing I will do is I will be building now. As you can see, it is running. Apparently it's not giving me any error messages, and the file netget.exe is being called, and I get a shell on Jenkins as an administrator. Let's ask for who am I, and the user is Koshuke. So this is a pretty basic standard way to get a shell on a Jenkins server. We were lucky that we can just write our comments in this way without any authentication. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability on a Tomcat system. We will be using Kotarak from Hack the Box, and I already done some basic enumeration, and I found a really cool SSR vulnerability which allowed me to see a backup file which gave me the Tomcat credentials. So I logged into the Tomcat, and in this specific video I want to show you how to inject your code in a var format to get a reverse shell on the Tomcat system. We'll create a var file using MSF Venom first. I will be using the following: MSF Venom -p Java GSP shell reverse TCP. Then I will be writing lhost for my own IP address, and lport will be any port that you want. So I will be specifying the extension with -f option as var, and I will be creating the file called kalisa.var. Let's wait until the file is created. So the file is created. What will I do is I will be listening on this port 777, and I need to upload my var file now. We can just do it under here. As you can see, there is an option to upload your var files. This is a classic Tomcat way of doing things. I will be uploading this. I will deploy it, and as you can see, it is showing up here, and it's already started. It's running. When I click on it, as you can see, a connection is coming, and I already got a shell. Let's ask for who am I? I'm the Tomcat user. We can get a proper shell in this way. Python C import pty.spawn, only if I don't do a typo. And we will be uploading bin bash. Close this, and we get a proper bash shell now. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability by uploading a malicious PNG file. We will be using the box network from Hack the Box, and if you're ready, let's jump in. I've already done some basic enumeration, and I found these PHP files upload.php in uploads directory. So there's a file upload functionality. When I try to upload a generic hectorbox.png file, which I downloaded from Google, it gives me an error as follows: invalid image file. So the first thing that I want to show you is that I want to add some magic bytes for PNG file to bypass this trick. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm checking out hectorbox.png file, and I'm copying this and saving it as test.png file. Sorry. Okay, let's exit this. I don't need that. Now I can corrupt the file. Okay, we have test.png file, and what I will do is first I will add some magic bytes for PNG. And I will be saving this corrupted file as php.png. Since the application will check the first bytes when it sees that this is for PNG, I am hoping that it will allow me to upload this file. When we say go, we can see this file under photos.php, as you can see here. So what I want to do is I want to add some RCE payload at the end of test.php.png file to get a remote code execution. Let me show you how I'm going to do this. As you can see, I'm adding the following PHP code to add a parameter cmd to reach out to an RCE here. I'm saving this, and I will be uploading the same file again. Go, file uploaded perfectly. We're going to photos.php again. I'm viewing the image, and when I add cmd at the end of this URL with ls, it's given me a remote code execution. From there, you can get a reverse shell and continue with privilege escalation. But in order to see how to upload a PNG file, how to corrupt it, to insert some PHP code in it, I really enjoyed this exercise. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability by using a Hectorbox machine called Nibbles. So I already did some basic enumeration, and I realized that there is this directory called Nibbleblock. I'm not going to go into details as this is not a video for solving this bugs. So there is this file called admin.php. So this is the most basic scenario that you can see while you're uploading a PHP file and getting an RCE to get a reverse shell on the machine. If you're familiar with the CTF concept, you will realize that you are supposed to get a reverse shell on the machine so that you can jump into the second phase called privilege escalation. So this box is pretty easy because there's a file upload functionality which allows you to upload PHP files. There's no restriction on it, so you will basically get a reverse shell in a couple of steps. So we will see more advanced scenarios, but let's start with the most easiest one so that we can compare them. Okay, enough with the chit chat. So I'm jumping into plugins. There are a couple of plugins that you can choose to configure. I will go to my image and will configure it, which will allow me to upload files here. So in order to do that, I will go to, let me see, user share web shells. They're common with Kali automatically. Under PHP folder, there is a PHP reverse shell, the PHP file. So what I will do is I'm always copying this file under the temp directory so that when I reboot the machine, it can just go away. So I'm saving it as she.php. So I am just, okay, maybe I will just go to temp directory and modify the file. So what I will do is I will remove this comment parts, and I will be writing my own IP address. It's like the most basic step for a CTF. Hopefully I am remembering my IP address correctly, because I always write it wrong in the middle of the CTF. I'm realizing that, oh god, I'm not getting a reverse shell because I wrote my IP address wrong. It happens. So I will be listening on port 1234. And what I will do is I will be uploading this file, she.php. I will be saving it. It will give me some error messages, but it's been uploaded. So we are supposed to view this file in order to trigger RCE. So if you realize that there's another vulnerability here, which is directory traversal, which allows you directory listing. There's a directory listing attack here. So if you do more research, you will realize that there's a directory listing vulnerability under content. So what we will do is we will go to private and then plugins, which we configured lately. We're going to my image, and it's been saved here as image.php file. When we call it, we are getting the shell as, let's see, who is this person? Nibbler. Pretty basic. You are basically just uploading a file, which can be with any extension. We just chose PHP file. So in Pentest, Bug Bounty, whatever it is, if you see a file upload functionality, just try starting with the most basic one, PHP. Sometimes I realize that I'm like trying to bypass some restrictions that can happen, and then I realize that any file extension is okay. So this can happen. This is the most basic scenario. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability to get a reverse shell on a hack-the-box machine called Nineveh. So I already did some basic enumeration. Let me briefly go through to it. So there is this directory called department, and there's this file called manage.php, which is vulnerable to LFI vulnerability. As you can see it in here, there is this file being called. And the thing that we're gonna get is there is this DB interface and there is a username. So what I've done in the next step is I verified the LFI vulnerability. I just kept this file because there's this weird requirement here that this Nineveh nodes keyword is supposed to be called in LFI payload. Weird, but after hovering around a bit, you will realize this. So what I've done is I've added this payload at the end of it to get etc passvd file content. So that's cool. I verified this vulnerability so that when I inject my PHP code, I can call the file from here. In the second step, I found this directory called db, and then I logged in by cracking some password. Anyway, we're not going to go over it. We are going to focus on PHP code injection here. So what I've done is I've created a database called Nineveh nodes.php because in LFI you're supposed to call this file name. So I created this directory, I created this database, and I created a table. Okay, let me drop this and we can create it together again. I created the database, I created the table, doesn't matter. I added a field, one field. We will set type as text, and I created this payload which will get a she.txt file, which is the type of the payload that we're gonna upload from Python simple HTTP server on port 8000, which I will be listening. It will be getting this file, saving it in temp directory of the vulnerable machine, and then we'll be calling it with PHP. So what I will do is I will be copying this and I will be saving it in the field and default value input areas. I will be creating this, and if you go back to database page, you can see the path for this database, which I added in here. Now I will be calling this, but at the same time I will be listening on simple HTTP server for port 8000 so that the file can be gathered from here, she.txt file, which is saved here. I'm also listening on a port 1234 because if we see the content of she.txt file, I wrote my IP address and port number 1234. Pretty basic. We will be firing up simple HTTP server and we'll be listening on port 1234. When I trigger this with LFI, we see that she.txt file being called from here, and we get a reverse shell as data. Pretty basics, but I just wanted to include this scenario to show that you can play with your reverse shell. You can write a couple of bash scripts to save the file, execute it in the vulnerable server, and combine it with different vulnerabilities such as LFI here. In this video, we will see how to exploit code injection vulnerability by using a hack-the-box machine called Popcorn. So in order to get a remote code execution here, we need to upload a php.png file, which we need to do some trick using burp proxy. So I've already done some basic enumeration, and when I done some directory brute forcing, I found this directory called torrent, and I needed to create a user to upload a file, which was super easy. I created a sample user and I went to this upload functionality. So in order to use this functionality and reach out to an RC, we need to upload a sample torrent file. I just went over Google and just checked some sample files and found the following. So what we will do here is that we will just be uploading a file, the name, and I will be uploading this file. As you can see, when we upload it, we can edit the screenshot, which is the part that we can upload our malicious php.png file. So for this purpose, I created this she.php png file so that we can add this parameter to get an RCE. I came back here and I will be uploading this file, but in order to do that, I will be firing up burp so that I can control the data that's been sent. I am choosing she.php.png file and saying submit screenshot. It is uploaded. I'm going back to burp and you can see it in here. So the trick that I'm supposed to do is that in case this file content is being chosen as application PHP, I am supposed to change the content type as image PNG. So the trick that I will do here is that I will be removing this PNG and I will be uploading it as image.png content type. I will be sending this. As you can see, it is uploaded as she2.php. So you can see the uploaded files in here. The one that's been uploaded is there, and we will be calling it with adding the parameter Kalisa ls, which will give us the output for the comment. Let's ask for who am I, and it is given data. From there, I'd like to get a reverse shell because that's the time for it. What I will do is I will be listening on port 555 and I will be binding bin.sh with my machine, which you can see we get the shell. So pretty easy example, but I just wanted to include this scenario because you can just upload a PHP file by changing the content type from application/php to image/png. Thank you for watching my videos. Stay tuned for more content. Cheers!